So there is a new dim date table over here. So this one actually I have extracted or loaded from my local data source, the local SQLDB data source. So we have this option over here, data source settings, with which we can change or alter the settings we have already imported the data from. So if you look over here, you already have a data source from the online CSV file. Just clicking on changing source. Okay, we have few options over here. These are the basic options. So herein you can change the link, and you can set it as how to open this file. So in case you are changing this CSV file as a Excel file, you can change it over here as an Excel workbook and just click OK. You won't be having any other parameters, because when looking into a CSV file, you have to specify the delimiter and the Unicode character thing and all. So the other configurations as well. So let's just not tamper with it as of now. We will keep the CSV as data source itself. For the local SQL DB, I have used my local SQL data table on my laptop, and have used the popular AdventureWorks 2016 DB, and I have a calendar view inside it. I have created a 100-year calendar inside that DB, and I'm filtering it out with a view, certain number of columns, so that I can get the required data. The 100-year calendar is available on the DB, but we don't need the 100-year calendar on our data source. You can customize the query so as to bring the needed data to Power BI. So I'll show you what I have done over here. Let me just get the, okay, this is the instance. I will show you again how this was imported. Just click on new SQL server. This is my source. Okay, so for now we will leave the advanced options. What you can do over here is you can paste a query over here. So what happens is, like, this query will be executed on your SQL server, but you will have to specify which database it should be. If you look at the previous query which I already have over here, see, this is the same screen that you saw before. So I have mentioned my SQL instance, then I have provided the database name, then I have specified a query. What this query does over here is this select star from AdventureWorks 2016 DBO calendar view, where date key between two values. Okay, I'll tell you what these two values are. So this is actually selecting certain values from the calendar view, which is a view generated from a calendar table. The calendar table has 100 years of data, so we don't need the 100 years. These two values actually, they are generated from the date column of the table. So I create a date key from the date column so as to get an integer value, and we filter the integer value to get specific dates in between certain dates. So if you look at over here, this one, the extraction is in such a way that it is YYYY MMDD, that is the year month date. Same for this value as well. So once I'm extracting the date from the date column as a date key, it will be like 2019 0th and 0th. So this part I will tell you, this is only to get the correct data. What actually should come over here would be 0101. We need the data between the first month, January 1 2019 to 2021 end, that is 2021 12/31. That is the date range that we are actually looking for. So as to get that data, I have provided these numbers. Do not get more confused with it. If you want to specifically get the dates, you can change these two numbers as 2019-0101 and 2022-0101. So that is the date range that you are actually looking for. So that is how you load a data from a local database into Power BI. Now, there are certain other values as well over here. Okay, I will tell you what I have done with that. This query one. As I told you, everything that come under here is actually referred to as queries. There are queries over here. We can also create parameters and functions over here. In this video, I will be talking about these three areas specifically. So how can we create a new query? We have to right click over here, and there are three active options over here as of now. We can create a new query, which is actually a new data source. So other than selecting all the other options, there is an option over here. It says blank query, wherein we can directly write in the Power Query to get the data. So this is the hard way, that is, you have to key in the code. So we are not going to do that, because in Power BI, it's actually, we are sticking to a no code solution. Okay, so what else can we do with this? If you look at the advanced editor in this case, see, this is an example of what I just mentioned. This list.dates function, okay, this actually creates a list of dates between the specified with the specified parameters set. So for these, you will need to Google up and understand what does list.dates in Power Query does. Okay, I'll just give you an overview of what's happening here. So the first parameter is a date, which will be the initial starting point, and 5 will be the number of iterations, that is the number of rows that will be generated, and the duration, what this actually, the parameter 1 specifies is the number of days. So with the difference of 1 day, starting from 2011-12/31, give me 5 days as a list. So once this query is done, it will give you a list of dates starting from 31/12/2011. See, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. I will just do one more change. Okay, so I will do I'll generate 10 dates with a difference of 2 dates, just to make you understand of what's happening over here. Okay, I will change this to 2019 as well. Done. So if you look over here, it starts from 31/12/2019. Now if you look at the difference between the date, it's actually 2. So the duration of 2. Okay, and we have 10 columns over here. That is the 10 which we specified over here. Now we can actually create a date dimension from here itself. So what we can do is, we need to create a table out of this list. For that, you just need to right click on this new list which we created, just convert it to a table, just go ahead and click OK. So we have a column. Okay, this one we have a set of dates. Change the data type to date. Okay, for understanding easily, we will rename the column as well. Now we can use the transform data and actually create new columns with the help of this one single column. Okay, so I'll extract the year. Okay, we are adding columns. So let's have a quick look at the date dimension. So this is the date dimension. We have the full date time, we have the full date, day of the month, and there are other few columns over here like the day of week, etc. Okay, see, we have the month number, month name, quarter, etc. So we will try to generate few of those over here. So I am trying to extract the year, month. Okay, if you just have a quick look on the month, see, we have start of the month and end of the month. Okay, we saw the same values on the other side as well. Click over here, we need to get the end of the month. We can get all these values in here as well. Okay, get the name of the month. See, we are generating a table with the exact same structure as dim date, but it is always advisable to create the dimension, date dimension on the SQL side itself. In this tutorial, we are mainly looking into working with the local files and a local DB. Okay, so when we are working with local DB, I am just showing you how to create a date dimension on Power Query. But when doing so, Power Query to create a date dimension, it will definitely eat up the performance of your queries. So try to avoid creating date dimensions inside Power Query. Always generate them from the SQL tables and bring them into Power Query with only the required number of dates. For example, some clients will have the requirement stating that they will only be looking at the current year. Okay, so you just need to bring in the dates for the current year. That's all. You can filter out the other dates just like how I have done over here. Okay, so we'll just have a look at it again. So when you are trying to bring in the data for the current year, you can specify where date key between. This is only one way. It's actually not the right way, because we have other better options to bring in the current year's dates from the SQL query. When I'm just explaining how to change this current query I have over here and bring in the current year's dates. So you can provide over here 2020, 12/31 and 2022/01/01. You can give it in that way so as to get the dates of this year. So we'll keep the query as like this itself. Okay, so this one, what you are looking at actually is a parameter. Okay, I'll show you how to create a parameter. Yeah, there we go. So this is one parameter that I have created. Okay, I have just named it as source path. I will give it as you can always keep the your parameters in detail. Like when a third person is coming and looking at your variables, they should be able to understand what you have created here. So this is actually the source of CSV file. Okay, to be specific, we will mention over here as web CSV file, and I have provided a text value which is actually the link for the online CSV file. What I will do is I will if you look over here in the date dimension in the advanced query, we have the source wherein we need to provide this one is actually the instance name, and this over here is the table name. Okay, so what I am going to do is I am going to create these two as variables so that they can be reused and altered easily. Normally in cases so as to change a data source, what you need to do is you might need to come over to data source, click over here, change the source, you will need to change all these options over here. Okay, so I'll tell you a quicker way of how to do this. Let's go ahead and create a parameter. I will give this one SQL instance. Okay, that's one thing that we need. SQL instance name. So this should be actually type, and okay, I will just hold on to that because I just need to get the correct value from here. Okay, we are taking in these two values. Okay, so I have copied them. Hold on. Yeah, there it is. So SQL instance, and we need to copy and paste this value because this is my instance name. Okay, so I'm creating another one which should be the database name. Okay, so this is the database name. Okay, so just make sure that we need to change this to text, and this can be any value. Okay, that's done. Now let's go back to the date dimension, take advanced editor, and we can now change this to SQL. See, we have the parameter available here, SQL instance as well as SQL. Sorry, that was not right. It was database name. There we go. Just click done, and see, there are no changes happening, which means everything has went fine. Let's try changing the AdventureWorks database name. Again, we have an error. So we can confirm that our we will be able to change the parameters in future. And in case you have suppose we are migrating the SQL instance to another server, so what you will need to do is you just need to change this SQL server instance and provide the instance that is provided by your DB team. You just need to put in the value and just wait for the query to load.